everyone, welcome to the Brush by Brandy YouTube channel. This week we are going to be working on a little resin pour, and I'm doing this joy box, and I made this one as a gift for a friend of ours whose daughter was getting baptized, and we were lucky enough to be able to share in her special day. And I've given their girls some other special jewelry boxes, and so this was nice to go ahead and make one for her. I like to add a lot of personalization with these with jewelry boxes. I try to add a name or monogram where I can. Colors that are special to the girl, in this case the colors that she uses in her room. One of her favorite things is panda bears, so I chose to use black and white in my design. Lots of silver detailing with silver leaf and gemstone mousse from Dixie Belle, and I created a really special one-of-a-kind box that I got to give as a gift. So this is fun. We're going to do a resin pour. We're going to do a resin pour using Dixie Belle paint, and all the colors that are in my paint finish I can incorporate into my resin pour. So let's go ahead and get this one poured. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to really focus on the top of this box because that is where the magic happens on this one, and some really cool finishes. So thank you guys for tuning in. Click that subscribe button and let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to be doing a resin pour tonight, and the pour that I'm going to be doing is for the top of this jewelry box that I'm working on. So I'm just going to be pouring the lid. I've covered the underside in painter's tape, and I've made sure that I've got it on a level surface. And so I just put I have a shim under on this side. I've put a level on my top so that I know that this is spot on level. So once I've got that all figured out, the resin that I'm going to be using is Amazing Clear Cast Plus from Alumilite. I love this resin. I love to pour it. I love to mix it. It's beautiful to work with. It mixes a 1-to-1 ratio. I've got about 30 to 40 minutes to work with it, which I won't even use that because I'm working on such a small top. And then 24 to 48 hours for it to harden. So I've got out my cup here. That's got measurements on the side, and I'm only going to mix about 2 ounces of resin, which I'm going to have excess because I think I'm going to end up with more actually left in my cups than I am actually going to use on my piece. I always make sure I mark my lids so I know which one properly goes back on which container so that I don't resin seal them shut. So my lids are back on. I've got my 2 ounces of resin. Now I'm going to go ahead and stir this for about 4 minutes. I'm going to use Dixie Belle the Gulf. I'm going to use Endless Shore from the Silk line and Anchor from the Silk line because those are the 3 colors that I used when I was painting my jewelry box. And then I'm also going to use some glitter additive, and I've got the same 3 colors, a teal, a white, and a black. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is split my 2 ounces of resin equally into 3 cups. So now I'm going to go ahead and start doing my pouring. I'm going to start with the teal, and I will just kind of drizzle in the black and the white a little bit, but I want most of the teal. And I think I'm going to do it in kind of a circular pattern. I've got my resin all done. I did end up moving it just a little bit more with the hairdryer just to kind of blur out some of those lines and make it more of an abstract design. I'm going to go ahead and add some silkscreen stencils from Dixie Belle Paint. I'm just going to place my stencils where I want them, and then I'm using gemstone mousse and diamond to fill them in. So the silver is going to tie in nicely. That's going to be my accent color on this piece. We're just about done with this lid. I did go ahead and add a stencil of an initial, and I just used silver leaf. I sprayed a little bit of spray adhesive over my stencil, and then I added a piece of silver leaf on top of that and brushed away the excess. And then I added some of my silver silkscreen stencils to the lid as well. So I'm going to go ahead and seal all this in using one last final clear coat of resin. I'm going to repeat the same steps that I did in the beginning for my first pour, and I'm just going to mix 1-to-1 ratio of parts A and B of my resin, and then I'm going to go ahead and smear them over the top of my jewelry box lid just using my gloved hand. And this time I'm just going to go ahead and let it flood right over the edges. I come back with my gloved finger and guide it to the edges, and that's going to let it flood, and then I'm just going to torch this for bubbles and let it sit and dry. And here is my final project. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can find links for everything I used in this video in the description for this post. And you can find more Brush by Brandy on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube.